Insurance company, affiliates, and other insurers.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, rain and thunderstorms possible with a low of 40. Then on Wednesday, a chance of a rain-snow mix with temperatures around 36. Step into Forts at Children's Theater Company. It's a fort-building wonderland where theatrical elements, evolving light and soundscapes, and towering towers of cardboard boxes set the scene for shared creative play. Forts, now through April 5th at Children's Theater Company. Tickets at childrenstheater.org.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, didn't cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, today's guest is our friend Arvina Martin, and I'm going to pop her on in just a second here. I just want to give a quick shout out to, there's a show after this Native Roots Radio tonight here locally on AM 950 called Chase Ironhide's Native American Patriot Talk, and please stay and listen to that. It's unbelievable. Chase Ironhides, I know from Standing Rock, Line 3, and now he's here in the Twin Cities helping. He's a lawyer, a Native lawyer, Lakota lawyer. He has Lakota. You'll just enjoy it, and please stay. And he's going to be on the first and third Thursday of every. Tuesday, the first and third Tuesday of the month, and really exciting to have him join AM 950's family and Native Roots Radio's family. So without any further ado, I want to bring our friend Arvina Martin on. And Arvina, thank you so much, as always, for being on Native Roots Radio. And I just get so much great feedback for you coming on Native Roots Radio. And we have a lot of fun. We talk about Wisconsin politics, national politics, and Minnesota politics. But nationally, Arvina, we had a relative, Jesse Jackson, pass away today. And a lot of, he was controversial in a lot of ways, but a lot of ways too. I am somebody when I think of him.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the post I made on Facebook today about my experience with him, but quick sharing that story. My dad was involved with a paper that's a newspaper that served the Madison communities of color in the 80s. And in 1984, I was 4 years old. My sister was around 2, and my dad got asked to interview Reverend Jackson. Sorry for my hoodie there. And he took his recordings, cassette tapes back in the day, and then we were and was writing his article for this paper and everything. And our family got invited to his campaign event because this was when he was running for president. And we went, my dad was holding me, my mom was holding my younger sister. And, I at one point, he took me and I was the small child for his photo op there. And then, we got separated, and I was in, my dad and I got separated from my mom and my sister. We got to go down in the elevator with him and his security, and went home and thought nothing of it until the next day. I had chicken pox. And so my parents were furiously trying to get a hold of the campaign of somebody that could let him and his team know, hey, be careful if you haven't had chicken pox because you were exposed yesterday. And luckily, I did not give Jesse Jackson the chicken pox. So I am very happy for that. But also apparently, and I don't remember any of this, but I used to make my parents play that tape of my dad interviewing him. And I used to listen to it all the time. So I come by my political nerdery cred early. I was a little one when I first started paying attention, apparently. And, yeah, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Jesse Jackson. So, thinking of his family, all those that love him, and, thinking about the impact that he's had on our country, which has been quite an impact.
Yeah, and I remember too that he's in that famous picture of people pointing at the assassin of Martin Luther King, and he's in the background there, and he's been boots on the ground and really taken off. And just a side note too, I believe 8 a.m. on or on AM 950, his daughter Santina Jackson does a show here on AM 950, a daily show, and we just have to say our prayers are for you. And I loved when he always did the I am somebody. I love that. And I think I really needed to hear that because in 1980 I was pretty lost 19-year-old.
Yeah, and actually I saw one of those videos, one of those I am videos. Today it was him on Sesame Street in like the 70s or early 80s. So, he's been making an impact for decades, and longer than I've been alive. So, it's a big loss. And, just his impact on this world has been tremendous. And hopefully people have their good memories of him. I've been seeing people post on Facebook about him. He came to Madison 15 years ago when we had the Act 10 protests over the governor banning collective bargaining for public sector unions. He came and fought alongside us that battle. And so there's a lot of people around here that have met him and have good memories of him.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta switch gears here too. There's some political stuff happening in Wisconsin, and
Yes.
the Native Coalition of Oneida have a meet and greet, and with Judge Chris Taylor, and I know I was able to interview oh no, I just lost it. I was going to say Protasewich. That's it.
There you go.
And you know me, Arvina. I practice that name for hours.
Yes. I mean, it's not, that's more like a mid-level pronunciation. That's not entry level.
Jeez. Well, what do we think of Judge Chris Taylor? We really need to support this person, and I know Native American Coalition is sponsoring this. It looks like it's a meet and greet on Thursday, February 19th at 2:30 at the Norbert Hill Cafeteria, Oneida Tribe, Norbert Hill Center, and it's exciting that tribes and nations can be part of the process, because we really are part of the process, and we make a difference here.
Absolutely. I have known Judge Taylor for quite a while. She was a state representative in our state assembly, where she frequently has gone to the mat for Native people, for other communities that have that are historically underrepresented in government and in other fields as well. She was the one that originally tried to start the MMIW task force through actions through the state assembly, but as that body was and remains Republican controlled, they did not move forward with that. And I believe that was the idea that kind of started and the attorney general's own task force on the same topic. And yeah, Thursday she'll be at the Norbert Hill Center. I'll be there too. Excited to have her meet with members of our community and see what issues that are really important to us, and answer questions about the state justice system and such.
Well, that's great. And then you can, all you people in Wisconsin listening to this on Civic Media, and then of course AM 950, you guys can meet Arvina. Just go up to her and say hello. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're going to be right back. We're with Arvina Martin. Ho-wah.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Age Jagwa Desnigowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Seamus presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th. Explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. And this is Robert Pilot along with our friend Arvina Martin. Arvina Martin is our political consultant here, and we'll talk a little bit later how you guys can get a hold of her for your political needs all over Turtle Island. And Arvina is our native expert here, and I always love to follow your lead. Arvina, before we get into talking about what's happening with the primary elections, I just wanted to talk a little bit. Yesterday was President's Day, and the only thing that I felt good about was posting on our president, Green Deer of Ho-Cunk Nations, that it was great to serve with him, and that we're really proud of our government as Ho-Chunks. And maybe we could talk just a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think I think I saw, well, I don't think I saw any President's Day posts about, presidents of the United States, but I did see many Ho-Chunks posting about, happy President's Day to President Green Deer. And I really also, I liked the post that he made talking about how for us, presidency has been a newer role that came when we changed our constitution. And was it 93 or 94? I'm not entirely sure.
He posted 94.
Yeah, and he listed the names of all of the people, members of our nation who have held that title as of president of the Ho-Chunk Nation, and I thought that was a lovely acknowledgement. And yeah, it was nice to have a president who doesn't thoroughly embarrass us every day, like the U.S. president does.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And we can get more into that, but I want to kind of talk a little bit. Just have we talked since the state of the tribes? Was that last week? Have we talked about the state of the tribes? I think we did.
Yeah, we did. We did.
You were there. That's right.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
We have, I have a good memory, but short. We have our friend Governor Evers leaving soon, and he's amazing. I got to play golf with him. I got to meet him. First time I met him is when our Ho-Chunk government, and especially our medical field, was so proficient in helping not only Ho-Chunks and natives, but the whole community with COVID vaccines. And that was the first time I was able to meet him in person. And what a champion of native people. And he's going to be missed.
Absolutely. Again, with the school teachers make excellent governors. I mean, both here in Wisconsin and you guys in Minnesota probably agree. He's always been an educator. He's always been somebody who wants to learn. And he, has taken his role in things like government to government consultations very seriously. And I think has been a great role model in terms of how to have a governor interact with tribes, and how his government, in all of the departments in state government have a tribal liaison that meet regularly with tribes. And this has been a part of the Wisconsin state government for a couple decades now. And there's always room for improvement, but I do think that Governor Evers has worked in good faith. And I also want to mention, it's been, and it's been really cool. He's been kind of teasing or promoting, making announcements on social media about his final State of the State address tonight. And in every single one of those videos where he's speaking, he's wearing a medallion that he's been gifted. The ones that I have been seeing have been porcupine quill, with the state of Wisconsin outlined, and like an eagle feather or a bear, or, uh, something like that. But it's clear that, he is wearing the gifts that he's been given. And it makes, and in a context that is not directly related to Native people. I think that's really cool. And I know that when I've looked at his posts, I've seen a lot of Native people commenting on that, like, nice medallion, Gov, and like that kind of thing. And those are really, like, those kinds of efforts are very much noticed. And, I encourage all candidates, elected officials, if you are gifted something like that and are allowed to accept and keep them, please wear them. I know that that Governor Evers had been given once a lovely black velvet and beaded vest, like with floral woodlands beadwork from I don't remember who it was from, but it was from somebody who was from one of our Ojibwe bands here in Wisconsin. And he loved it so much, but was always afraid to wear it in public because he didn't want to be appropriating. And I think that now that he's wearing his medallions, and I think that is a really great way to show cultural appreciation versus cultural appropriation. He is enjoying and using something, a gift that he was given by someone who likely made that piece themselves with, the intent that they wanted him to wear it. And I'm really glad that he's leaning into that. I hope we see him rocking medallions, for the remainder of his term as governor. Hopefully we see our next governor maybe carrying on the same tradition of wearing pieces from Native creators. I think that's a really great way to show that we're still here, that we are resilient people, that we adapt, and that our cultures aren't stagnant. They respond to things that are happening in real time. And it just really made me smile to see that. Yeah.
What a wink, and what a Easter egg, and all those things that are subtle. Hats off to you, kind of feeling, or kind of action. Really, that's awesome.
Exactly. And like I said, he's doing it in a context where he's not specifically naming Native people. He is not specifically naming tribes. He's like, I'm going to wear my bear medallion today because it's awesome. And I'm going to make a quick video about how my speech is tonight. It's normalizing, it's making space for other people to feel more comfortable appreciating and purchasing, as well as actively wearing pieces made by Native makers. That provides more income for those makers, who oftentimes make a living by making these beautiful pieces. And again, he's very quietly making space for Native art in all contexts. And I think it seems like a real teacher thing to do. You get presents from your students. You're a kindergarten teacher, and they make you a dried macaroni necklace. And in no way am I comparing the actual art, but like, this was given to me, and it was given to me with good intent and in a good way, and I'm going to enjoy it and wear it as it's meant to be worn.
And I love that too. And I think you and I have talked about how important it is for young ones to see nativeness, Native people And I always respond to, it's really important for me to see it, but especially our young ones to be validated in so many different ways. I know a couple days ago I saw a Jeopardy, from it said an ally of the British whose uniforms he wore, Seneca Chief, was it Sago Hiawatha, was known as this color jacket. And then of course is what is red, but but that's just cool. Another one of those hats off to you, and we're still here.
Absolutely. I am going to miss him and his leadership, but I think that he has earned retirement, and he and his wife, his lovely wife, can go enjoy their family, enjoy their grandkids, and just take some time. He's given quite a lot to the people of Wisconsin. Before he was before he was governor, he was the state superintendent of the Department of Public Instruction, again, as an educator and someone who cares about and someone who fights consistently for the education of our youth, all of our youth, and continues to show that kind of that way of educating folks.
We got less than 30 seconds. Can you explain that quick bill that he did a one around and made it forever? Was that school lunches or I can't remember, but
it was a school funding bill, and I can't remember exactly how he did it, but he was able to cross out some numbers and make school funding at a higher rate for like 3,000 years.
Yes, I remember that. Hey, we're here with our friend Arvina Martin, and we got more to discuss. This is Native Roots Radio.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th. Explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Age Jagwa Destiny Gowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Seamus presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, rain and thunderstorms possible with a low of 40. Then on Wednesday, a chance of a rain-snow mix with temperatures around 36. There's something for everybody at Cafe Latte in St. Paul. From award-winning soup, salad, sandwiches, and desserts to treats from the bakery made fresh daily and a pizza and wine bar. Cafe Latte is located on the corner of Grand Avenue and Victoria Street. Check them out at cafelatte.com.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with our friend Arvina Martin, and we're just talking about a lot of stuff that's going on. There's more to the story too. Here in I almost said here in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, my heart's in Wisconsin. Again, I've always said I would live in Madison if I didn't live in the two other places. I love Madison, Wisconsin, for many reasons, but the political and the people, and it's just a great community. But there's some weird stuff going on with the governor's speech. Can you let our audience know kind of what's happening?
Yeah, I'm getting this from State Representative Christine Sinicki, who is from the Milwaukee area, and she is awesome. Big, lots of love to Rep Sinicki, and the State Assembly is in this is their last week of session before they all go home to their home districts for campaigning and everything, and running their races and such. And as the State Assembly is controlled by Republicans, they control what comes to the floor and what ultimately gets voted on. And so, of course, it's only Republican bills. Democrats, being in the minority, are now, doing what they can and trying to propose amendments to, make some of these bills less bad. This is standard. This happens all the time. And from Representative Sinicki's post, the Republicans are trying to take their ball and going home to go home. The governor's State of the State address takes place in the State Assembly chambers. That's where the State of the Tribes address is held as well. And that way, both houses of the state legislature can be seated there. And the Assembly Republicans are like, well, if you keep doing this, we're not going to let the governor give his speech in the chambers. So that is from a post from Representative Christine Sinicki. I've not seen any updates as to if the situation has been remedied, or if, they're still making the governor go speak in the rotunda. I'm not sure. So stay tuned, and I guess we'll see. I can't imagine the logistics of changing an event that requires the setup, like the state of the state. Moving it to the Capitol Rotunda requires moving lots of chairs, hundreds of chairs, changing all the AV setup because the speech is being live broadcasted on PBS here in Wisconsin. It's just it's a lot, and it's a lot to do last minute. So games shall be played apparently.
That's a bummer. There's just to switch off here just a little bit. We have an issue here with the Senate voting on our boundary waters and the pristine water up here at North, and then also here in the Twin Cities too. They're talking about the suburbs are really starting a big pushback at these data centers, and I mean we know starting Native Roots Radio with Minnie Wichoni, Water is Life, the Standing Rock protests, that peaceful protests that we were involved with when the show started, is that again there always seems to be assault on Mother Earth and Father Sky.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it here in Wisconsin too. There's many communities that are trying to put the brakes or slow down potential data centers from being, the construction from being started, because there are so many questions as to what kind of requirements these data centers need for cooling, and that requires water, and then that water is then contaminated. From my understanding, I am going to be completely upfront, and that I know the specifics about of like how this mechanism and like how it all works. Like, I'm not an expert, but I do think if we don't know, it's perhaps a good idea to pump the brakes, and we need to be careful with our water, especially as stewards of the Great Lakes. This is like the largest source of fresh water for our entire country, and you have communities, maybe in the Southwest or in other areas that want to build golf courses and want our water, and we need that for drinking. The fish need that. Our plants need that. This is not a commodity that can be bandied about. It's got to be. We've got to. I mean, without water, we all die. Like, there's just no way around that. And it's sad that it's not something that is completely recognized by everybody. And for my labor friends, I absolutely understand their push for these centers for jobs. But as we've stated before, a lot of times these companies go and hire folks from outside of our communities, and when those jobs are done, and they need water too, so that's just a difference of opinion there, and so it's a conversation I have with a lot of my labor brothers and sisters.
Yeah, it was hard because that was the same thing about Line 3, all these jobs, and basically people from all over the country had all these jobs for the pipeline and union jobs and insurance, and then local people just got to hold stop signs and go signs and were contract workers and had no health care and things like that. Hey, we'd love to talk sports. I just want to bring this up before I forget. The All-Star game, the basketball All-Star game, our friend, and I got to meet for 13 seconds, Obama and his wife were at the All-Star game in a unprovoked standing ovation. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think people really miss him, and I think people really miss Michelle too. Their steadiness, their intelligence, and their emotional IQ as well. And I also so that is something that clearly is missing, and empathy.
Yeah.
These are things that we are not seeing out of the White House these days. And I also want to throw out that the ball went out of bounds as he was sitting courtside, and he caught it, like no problem. So, I'm sure he was glad that he got to participate and play a little, so to speak, in the All-Star
Yeah.
game, knowing that how big of a basketball fan he is. So it was
Yeah.
kind of a nice moment for him as well, not only to be appreciated with an unplanned, unprovoked standing ovation, but being able to handle the ball, in a play.
Do you know my Obama story?
I don't know that I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna just tell it really quick. So, he came, I believe it was for the lieutenant governor who was running for, it was in Milwaukee, and I got an opportunity to do a meet and greet and a picture with him, and so I put my Free Leonard Peltier button on, and then I was gonna tell him, "Tell Joe Biden I'm really upset with you about line 3." And, I'm thinking all these things, and I was with Representative White Eagle, and we walked in there. He put his hand out and said, "How are you? Very nice to meet you." I wanted to hug and kiss him. 13 seconds later, we had our pictures, and I was gone. And I was like, that, just the charismatic aura of Obama just blew me away, and in a good way. And it was just like, it was funny because I had all these ideas. I was going to tell him to do this and that, and at the end, I wanted to hug and kiss him.
I mean, those when you get a chance to be in like a photo line or be invited to take pictures with the president, I've had that opportunity too, and I'm always like, yeah, this is what I want to say.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to like just be caught up in like their aura, or the air about them, and he's especially talented at making you feel like you're the important person, that you are the important person in the room, and that he's really happy that he's taken time out of his day to meet you rather than the other way around. And he's just so gifted at that.
Yeah.
And you're right, you get taken off off guard, and you're charmed. And the first time I met Joe Biden while he was vice president, I didn't say like anything because I was just like, oh my god. And so it's a real thing. And yes, they are fast too. So you get to go in and take your picture, couple snaps, and then you get emailed those pictures later. And that's it.
Yeah, but my head was spinning though because I had this whole plan, and it was
Yeah.
insane. The charisma really, I was longer than 17 or 13 seconds. I always just say that jokingly. It was a good couple
Yeah.
minutes of talking, but it was just the charismatic personality just came out. I also saw a video, and I don't know if somebody just made it, but it was when he was on the plane with all those World War II veterans, and he shook everyone, or maybe they weren't all world. I think there was Korea too, and
It was an honor flight, right?
yeah, he popped on the flight and got on the microphone and things like that, and it showed all these things that he did as president. And I'm getting teary-eyed just talking about it, but it really hit me, and it really hit me that I missed that humanity.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like that honor flight happened like within the last year, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something that he's done since he was in office. He knows that as a former president, as the former commander in chief, he has a certain role, and people look up to him still, and he takes that seriously, which is again such a shocking change and such a low bar that we now have. But
Yeah. And again, just talking about it, I got really emotional because we do miss the humanity of our leadership that we're lacking right now. So, hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, and I'd love to talk about the services that you can offer people in this next segment and how people can get a hold of you, because it's that time of year and years to get our Arvina on the payroll. Hey, this is
Sounds
Native
good.
Roots Radio. We'll be right back. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho-Cunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot. We're with our friend Arvina Martin, and I just want to remind everyone, Chase Iron Eyes is going to have his show, and which is the first and third Tuesday of every month here on AM 950, and it's entitled Native American Patriot Talk. And I like that name because the Native Americans are very patriotic, and we have so much more percentage per capita military people that are of Native Americans that serve, and we're very patriotic in a lot of ways, and the other side can't take that away from us. So I just want everyone to listen in, and again, it's in all the podcasts after the show goes live. It's in all the different podcasts that you can listen to the show. And again, that is Chase Iron Eyes with Native American Patriot Talk. Hey, Arvina, thank you so much. We had Sharice Davids there do a little bumper there, so now I feel like really whole that this is totally a Ho-Cunk show.
Yeah, and to kind of make a point off of your talking about Chase Iron Eyes' show is, I think that a lot of us Native people feel very patriotic, but feel patriotic in a way that means we love this country, we care about it, and we know it can be better. And we are not about to let, our leaders off the hook, or, just allow things to be, even good enough. We want our country to be better. And I think that that's healthy. I think that having a different idea and wanting your country to be better is the sign of real love of one's country, as opposed to, other folks that maybe say, well, you have to love our country, you can't criticize it at all. Like that's crazy to me. And I just kind of wanted to make that point about how our patriotism is often shown.
Yeah, good point, really. So let's talk a little bit, Arvina. I know I've heard you speak. Well, I hear you speak on the radio all the time too, but I've seen you really give a lot of things to the Democratic Party that they need, like indigenizing and thinking about us. And as you're driving through Wisconsin or Minnesota or any of these 5-state area, all the native names of cities, towns, and everything that people don't really realize. But you do a 101 for businesses. Let's talk a little bit about the services you do, because I would they're just so valuable, and I believe a lot of people wonder how they can get stuff to either their business or their political end, but you can take it from there. You know what you do better than I do, but I've seen you in action, and of course, you're on the show every week, sometimes twice a week, and so we know that you can really educate and support a lot of good things.
Yeah, I am available as in a consulting capacity in whatever form that may take. One form that takes very frequently is the fact that I offer and present trainings. I have created a Tribes 101 a presentation that I can give to units of government, candidates, elected officials, or anybody that wants to know a little bit more about how to appropriately act in the government to government relationship with tribes. And we also talk about engaging in Indian country and how to do that appropriately, how to do that, in a way that, again, is not offensive, that pays respect to the community that you're visiting, and that doesn't just pay lip service to the issues that Native people care about. I'm also, I also have some trainings that I do about public speaking, which can be really scary, or other aspects of running a campaign. I'm happy to help with, whether it is just as a consultant or as someone who is leading a training for folks. And you can find me on LinkedIn. I am the only Arvina Martin currently on LinkedIn. I'm waiting for my daughter Ho-Chunk Wei, who is also named Arvina Martin, to join LinkedIn. She's a freshman in college, though, so I've got a little bit of time, I think, before I have to change what I say about being the only Arvina Martin on LinkedIn.
I'll have to text you about that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Shoot. Well, I don't know if you were aware of this, but last Saturday, matter of fact, I fell on the ice Friday, so I couldn't do yeah, it's rough being old, and I kept on walking my 5 miles after I fell, and then as the day went on, my knee got sore and sore, and then I had to go get x-rays. I couldn't walk, but on Saturday, we had the big MMIR march here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and wow, there was a couple thousand people there wearing red and marching for our sisters and our sisters and brothers and our missing relatives.
Yeah, I think that this issue is getting more attention nationwide. A former colleague of mine from New Jersey posted about it recently, and I just that attention is what we need. We need more people paying attention and holding people accountable, whether it is law enforcement, whether it is the media for sharing or not sharing stories about our relatives who are missing, and about our lawmakers who are either helping or hurting efforts to not only find those that are missing, but also to put into place programs and policies that help protect us from this kind of violence, sexual violence, or just trafficking in general. Based on where we are located in Wisconsin and Minnesota, we're close to the border with Canada, and I know that the I-94 corridor is a trafficking lane, and we need to keep working to make sure that this doesn't happen, because every time it's a tragedy. And I don't know about you, but like my Facebook feed is constantly has, please keep your eye out for so and so, and those messages being shared, and it's heartbreaking. And I have some non-native friends that didn't understand like the extent and I showed them my Facebook feed, and they kept seeing, a post after post, and were like, oh my God. It was absolutely mind-blowing to them. And this is something that we know, and we need to keep being, on top of, keep being vigilant of. And it makes me really happy to hear that an awareness day event in the cities was so well attended.
Yeah, it's an annual event now, and I had this shirt made especially for it. It's got the Fight Back Ice logo on there, the loon, the Minnesota loon, and it was all red. But yeah, Arvina, again, I just really enjoy having you on, and you have such great things. Again, Arvina Martin at LinkedIn. And again, tonight, I just want to make sure everyone knows Chase Iron Eyes Native American Patriot Talk is coming up next. Arvina, any last comments here? We've got 10 seconds.
Yeah, if you're in the Green Bay area on Thursday, come to the Norbert Hill Center at 2:30 for our event with Judge Chris Taylor, who is running for Wisconsin State Supreme Court.
The big Peeny Gigi. Thank you, Arvina. Hey, if you're listening to this show, you are part of the resistance from Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on. It's sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote, and then give Arvina a call. Hey, we're still here. We are the seventh generation.
Ever wonder how